Let's look at the graphical representation of complex numbers. So as we've seen, a complex number consists of a real number and an imaginary number. If you need to represent this on the Cartesian plane, we will have a real axis, which is the x-axis, and an imaginary axis, which is the y-axis. So to draw a complex number 2, 3, we must go on the real axis and go to 3, go to 2, and on the imaginary axis we will go to 3. And like with normal coordinates, that would be the point 2, 3 on the complex number Cartesian plane. Say we've got another complex number and we want to graphically add these two complex numbers. Let's say -1 plus 2i. So what we can do is we can also draw this complex number on -1 on the x-axis and 2 on the imaginary axis. So if we draw a line from the origin to the one point and from the origin to the other point, let's get that right. If we want to graphically add these two points, what we can do is we can add this line from 2, 2, 0, and this is -2, 2. If we take this line and start, instead of starting in the origin, we start at this location and go in the same direction as the other complex number, we'll get something like this. And similar, if we take this complex number and we draw it from this complex number, we will get something like this. So this would be the graphic representation of adding two complex number graphically. And then if you need to draw this, we will also draw a dotted line to the resulting location. So if we look at this, this looks more or less like 1 and 5, 3, 4, 5. So we can always test this and say, let's take 2 plus 3i and we add -1 plus 2i. With algebra, we'll get 1 plus 5i, which is what we got there as well. So when we need to add two complex numbers graphically, we can use the parallel method, parallelogram, where we draw this complex number line we draw from this point in the same direction, and this complex number we draw from the end of this complex number to form a parallelogram. And you can always test your answer by doing the calculations with algebra. So this is how you add two complex numbers. Graphically.